the doctors found out that I had melanoma skin cancer after I got back. And all through 2020, we all know that was a bad year already with the coronavirus and everything. I was battling cancer, and I was just trying to keep my faith, stay strong in the Lord, and whoop its butt. And I beat it once, and then it came back. And then recently, I went and got a scan done in July, and I'm cancer-free by the grace of God. Cancer-free, and I'm being obedient, and I'm going to do what God's calling me to do. I'm fixing to start college at Liberty University to get a pastoral degree and become a pastor.
So he could be at your church. Hey, partner, I'm glad you made it out here. Let me hold that. You talk a little bit.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Today, my entertainment purpose is to make you hate me. And but as of right now, this is not Christian Fury. This is Jay Garganis, the man behind the character. As my brother Aubrey pointed out, I'm Operation Iraqi Freedom vet. And we've had some experiences, to say the least, and dealing with what you have to do with day in and day out over there. Sometimes you lose sight of your faith because you get lost in what you're doing, and you don't keep your eyes on God like you're supposed to. So you start to try to take things by the reins yourself and try to do it on your own, and it can become overwhelming. We cannot go through this world carrying our burdens by ourselves. It is God that gives us the strength to be able to do what we do day in and day out. We have to put every ounce of faith that we have in trusting Him to lead the way. And I know it's difficult being a grown adult to have to rely on someone else when you're like, I'm capable, I can do it, I'm grown, but we're imperfect creatures. We can't do it alone. We have to put our faith in Him above all else to be able to do what we have to do, and He'll lead us the way. And there'll be times that are tough, and it seems like the devil's grabbing at you, saying that God is not with you, but I'm here to tell you today, and if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be in that ring wrestling right now. I would be 6 feet under with my brothers and sisters in Iraq. So everybody's got a story to tell. Brother Bubba.
Now, my name is Louis Hale, Bubba Hale. I go by many names. Billy Dupree is one of them.
You gotta speak up a little bit.
There is one thing that I want my brothers here and to put forward a personal thing. I don't know if you realize this, but 22 vets a day commit suicide due to PTSD. 22 vets a day. I would ask my brothers, I realize they've been through a hot day, on a hot mat. Let's knock out 22 push-ups for those vets. And remember the 22 a day lost from themselves in PTSD. And please let them know that they are not alone. Let them know they're not alone.
Appreciate it. We'll keep you on that side with it.
22 push-ups for the vets.
22 push-ups for the vets.
Y'all don't outshow me. I'm not good. Don't outshow me. I haven't done push-ups in a while.
It's all good, brother. You know what? Do what you can.
Got our OTC right there.
ROTC, come here for a second.
22. You'll make me do it?
Yep.
I'll do it for the vet.
22 vets a day lose their life from themselves for suffering from PTSD. You want to come with us and knock out 22 for the 22 vets? Come on.
22 push-ups.
Just
22 push-ups.
I know you can.
I know you can do it. I know you can do it.
Melanie, 22.
22 push-ups. You got to stand on that side.
Ready?
Shut. Move. Ready?
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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Great job, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got another veteran here who's got a testimony of his own. Bill Blanchard. Bill Blanchard, also known as survivor of pain, he's going to give his testimony right now.
Appreciate my being out here today to eat William Blanchard II. I grew up here in Harlem in Grovetown, Georgia. I left the Marine Corps 20 years ago. Afghanistan, Iraq, Japan, I've been all over the world. I come back home, I get married, have my first 2 born sons. So life was doing great. And then I became a law enforcement officer, working for healthcare security as well, be on the SOAR team, be in the National Guard, trying to work 80 hours a week to take care of my family. I became a victim like so many other fathers out there who has to work and provide for their home. And like so many, a family gets broken up. It's like I can only do so much. And those are days, the darkest days of my life. I just sit there and hold my newborn son as his mom takes him to another state. And I'm being told to the judge, I got to figure it out for myself. And during this time, when I started to realize I was having PTSD, I was having survivor's guilt, and I felt like God was punishing me. It was 2016, I called this man on the phone. I sat there on my kitchen floor, and I said, I don't want to live no more. I can't see my kids, I can't be a cop, I can't be a son of my parents. Everybody in my family had no idea what was wrong with me, and I didn't know how to handle it. When I called him, he's working at Richmond County at the time, and I told him, brother, I'm sorry, I don't want to live no more, I'm going to kill myself, goodbye, I hung up. I called my mother, told her the same thing, called my sister. Well, they get Columbia County there ASAP, you know, and I fought the deputies, I didn't want to do it, I couldn't, because I'm not supposed to figure out a way, not only pay, trying to figure out how I'm going to see my kids. The kids that grew up thinking I abandoned them. And I think this is God's way of showing me that all the horrors we had to deal with overseas, and some people never understand what we had to go through and endure. I came back broken, and I couldn't deal with it. I even turned on God at times. God, I don't understand this. You know, but little did I know, life's all about trials and tribulations. I ended up going to the VA hospital, met 12 different doctors. I was in the psych ward for 2 weeks, and God had to strip everything away from me because not only that was my wife and my kids, I had to stop being a police officer. My promoter, Don Brown, said, Bill, I can't have you in the ring wrestling. You can't use your temper against guys in the ring, and I didn't want to understand that. I was blaming God for everything. I hated my life. I can't do this. If I can't be a father, if I couldn't be a lawman, then what good am I? You know. God literally stripped everything away from me. He brought down my knees. And I come on top of Doctor's Hospital, looking over the river, and said, God, this is it. I want to go home and be with you. And my Marines who couldn't be here today, I want to be with them. And I tell you what, I had cold chills on my spine. A cold sweat broke out and I went down on my knees. And I had this vision of my 3 boys at a cemetery wearing baseball caps, looking down their grave, and they're grown men at this point, and they're all saying, Dad, why did you give up? You know, why did you give up on us? You know, and I got down on my knees and I cried out to God. And I asked God to help me. Please take this hate out of my heart. Please, you know, I grew up in a church home. I grew up in Old Union Baptist Church, you know, but I turned away from everybody. I didn't want nobody to feel sorry for me. But it was this man who came to my house and stood by me. Hours and hours, night after night, getting phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning. He would leave his family come in and sit with me just to make sure I didn't do anything stupid, you know. And I thank God for people. I thank God for putting guardian angels in our life. And I got no doubt in my mind, this man was my guardian angel, and he made sure that I was going to get better. You know, I got myself back in the church. I get out my Bible, I get down on my knees, and I surrender to God all over again. And in that time frame, because of this man and other fellow veterans, not only got me to the VA hospital, but got me the help that I need. And hey, God brought a miracle in my life. I was able to still continue to work. I went back to work. God gave me the strength to do 4 jobs, be able to save up legal funds so I could just get visitation and now be able to see my children. I've got myself remarried to my best friend, my high school sweetheart. So one thing I'm here, my testimony says, if you turn away from God, if you're thinking about yourself, God will take everything away from you.
Yep.
But if you give your heart and soul to God, God will reward you, and God can give back what you lost.
Yep.
So I'm proud to say that I'm remarried, I'm a born-again Christian, I'm a great father to my little boys, my man, getting my career back. Thank you. And I'm about to say, I give all the glory to God, not to me, to God. Thank you.
Amen. Amen.
You got 3 soldiers here who all fought overseas, all different stories. I didn't fight overseas. I did my own thing. I was begging. I was an omnist. I thought there was truth in all things. So, last fall I started getting depressed. Normally I could pull myself out of it, but it got worse and worse. I was on medication. That wasn't really helping. And I started having dreams. And Jesus started showing up in my dreams and told me everything's going to be okay. Just come to Him, take Him in, I get the victory. I still wasn't sure, but I started talking to my wonderful wife here. That's her. She's recording this for her mom who's in the hospital after fighting COVID. She's got pneumonia. Hopefully she'll be out soon. So I told her about it. Ended up calling Fury here, talking to him. Called another wrestler who's ministry down in Vidalia. But eventually I ended up talking to her youth pastor, Pastor Scott Franklin over here in Thompson at Emotion Church. I went to church on Sunday, listened to the whole sermon. In the middle of the sermon, he veers off what he's talking about, and for word, said everything I said to my wife Thursday night in the car, how I felt about church. I still didn't get the picture. So I talked to the preacher, he prayed for me. It was Sunday morning on the way to work. I said, you know what, God, I'm all in, let's do this. Do whatever you have to do, wipe the slate clean. By the time I got to the parking lot, I had the greatest calm come over me. I wasn't worried about my bills. I wasn't depressed. I had a wonderful day at work, and I hate work. So you don't have to be a veteran to get that epiphany, to have God reach out and touch you. You might have something going on in your life right now. It don't matter what it is. If you got something, come on up here. It don't matter if you're fighting cancer, if you're dealing with regular, everyday stuff and you don't know what to do. You're going through things like these guys. You come up there, we'll pray with you. We'll get God to touch you. We'll heal your body, whatever you need. Just come on up here.
You feel driven. Something inside of you is telling you, approach. But then you have another part of you saying, I don't want to be looked at. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to appear weak. But let me tell you something. When you do something for God, nothing is weak. You're strong because you're going against the grain. You're stepping forth in your faith to become stronger, to become mentally sound, to be able to do things you never thought would be possible. To have this calm, to be able to feel love, to be able to feel triumph, to be able to overcome things in your life that you might be going through right now. This is the time to cast your doubts aside and step forward and take one step closer to trying to be one with God.
It takes a lot more courage to walk up here than to stand back there and try and deal with that stuff yourself.
Well, I'm also here to tell you this. If you're worried about the way the world perceives you, I'll tell you this one thing, and it's not that I'm going to turn it over. I would rather stand with God than be judged by the world than stand with the world and be judged by God.
Amen.
Now's the time to make that first step. If you're being led, make that first step. Give yourself to God. Tell him, I'm a sinner. I want to wipe the slate clean. I want to be able to do things the way you want me to do so, because everything I can do, it's you that strengthens me to be able to do what I need to do. Now's the time. Don't worry about everybody else. This world has nothing for you. All your treasures is with God, and the way to get to God is through Jesus Christ. There's only one way to heaven, and that's through the Son, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
It's not a way, it's the way.
Yep.
That's great.
Don't be ashamed. Step forward. Somebody will pray with you, or take the time to pray for yourself, to pray over your family, your loved ones, the ones that you can't be with right now because of various reasons, through illness, through heartbreak, through distance. You may turn away from God, but God never turns away from you.
Amen.
When you look down, there's an old story, footprints in the sand. Walking along, you have two sets of footprints. God's walking right beside you. And then the man turns to God when he only sees one set of footprints and goes, God, where were you? I needed you. I only see one set of footprints. God looks at him and says, you wasn't alone. That was when I carried you. Your burdens got too much for you. You turned it over to me. I took over. If you need help, if you need someone to pray with you, to help get you on that path to having a closer walk with God, step forward. We'll pray with you. We thank God for the opportunity, the platform that we have. We are 20 episodes in to Wrestling with Faith. We're going strong. We're building numbers. I thank God for the ability to be able to reach out and touch people through what we're trying to do here. If you're going through things, like I said, reach out. That's the only way we'll know when you need help, is to reach out. Say something. Don't be quiet. Don't try to take on those inner demons by yourself. Don't take them on by yourself, because I will tell you this, you take them on alone, you will lose. For God can do everything. If he is in your corner, you allow him to be in your corner and take over, there ain't nothing you can't do. Nothing.
Never walk alone when you're on God.
That's correct. You never walk alone when you're God.
we're going to take a little break here, check on these wrestlers, and we'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes.